it is not fair. It would not be fair if an individual had done it. So definitely it's not fair that the government is doing it. It is
And
not fair. Not a concern. It's not a priority. And that's the sad thing, but because it shows a huge disconnect when you cannot relate to the man, to the everyday man's life. You do not know what it is. Even for a man to see $5 in his pocket right now is a blessing. So you could buy a combi for whatever it is that he has to do for he to send school his children. I mean, whatever money can get in his hand is a blessing. To be so disconnected from that because you can't remember what it is to go hungry. You can't remember what it is to just survive on ramen alone. For you to be so disconnected that you forget the small man needs his money to do whatever he gotta do. It's not for you to hold up and say when he get it, he can get it. You know what's sad was really sad about it because what you saying is absolutely correct. Even up to this week, I was counseling some youngsters and what's now. It was tackling, um fatherlessness, and he was talking about if you had to be in your father's situation, would you forgive him or what's not. But long story short, he explained to me, one of the young men explained to me that the reason why he can't blame his father for going to prison because his father told his son, I have to provide. There's no way I can hear you when you're hungry and crying. I want something to eat and I don't know what to do. I can give up my freedom to make sure you get something to eat. And although I don't believe in victimhood and I always believe that there's a better way to do things, I could understand what he was saying. And his son sat down and said, I don't blame my father because my father was to a point where he had nothing, he had nothing in his pocket. And he had to do certain things, whether it was legal or illegal, is an easy choice to pick when it's time to feed somebody. And I understand because I know what it is. I walk about, I lime, I chill, I interacted with people like these. I kick football with people like these. I did crime with people like these. And I know sometimes it came to a point where they had nobody to turn to. They went to the politicians, they went to the churches, they went to all these, they're seeking for help. And everybody turned their head upon them because it was so distant and disconnected from the realities that young people facing today. And the sad thing about it, when somebody have to decide getting something to eat, legal or illegal, they may not want to tell us that everybody's not inherently bad. Everybody don't just get up one day and say, I want to be a criminal. But sometimes being pushed to the end of insanity, pushed to hunger aids, pushed to a point where you sleep so you don't go feel the hunger anymore, but still waked up by the aching pains of gas and tummy aches and stuff like that because you can't eat. Or you look to the side and you realize that your child saying, Daddy, Daddy, or Mommy, Mommy, hungry. And you realize you have nothing in your cupboard to eat besides tea, sugar, water. What will it push you to do? So there's sometimes you realize, oh, what do people they're robbing, where they commit all these crimes and stuff like that. But the number one solution is opportunity for resources. So these can be able to provide for the family. And when you make it so hard for people who have honest livings, I mean, whether it is you may not look at it as them's creators, man, or them's an artist, or he's selling he all beside the street, selling his socks, his vests, or whatever the case may be, and you make it so hard for the young man or the everyday man to survive, what do you feel he's going to do? What you pushing him to do? When he could look around and see a man who doing crime and committing crime lavishly and shaking hands with the ministers, a man that you're known for committing crime, shaking hand and hugging the prime minister and hugging other ministers, what message does that send? For the man that trying and hungry and running out of options, don't know where to turn. And when he decides to go to the people within his constituency or go to a church and ask for help or go to an organization, people turn it on or just give empty promises. What message are you sending? And people see you could talk pretty on the TV, you could talk pretty on the radio, but seeing is believing. People will more believe what they see than what they hear. And it is sad. I mean, we could come and we could talk about what the crime rate up so high and what this, but really and truly, crime does pays. And it's only going to take anybody with a IQ 2 to realize that crime does pays when they're hungry and when they have nothing to put food, or if they try doing the right thing and realize that, I have to put food on my table, if not for me, for my young ones. Until you get driven to that point of insanity, until you get driven to that point of frustration, until you go cry yourself to sleep when the nights come, wondering how you can get bills paid, wondering how you can get work, if you can even get a job, if you can even get paid for that job. What you feel? What you leaving people to do? What you really leaving people to do? And then you seeing the divide, and you realize that only when you got money is when you get concessions, or only when you got money is when you really get bread, or only when you got money is really get embraced. And then you try to do the right thing, you try to be the honest guy, you try to go there and make an honest living, and then you are turned on daily. It is frustrating. I mean, even when they sit down and try to talk to the young people, or when they sit down and they listen to the pleas and they listen to the cry, and it comes to these young people, sometimes it's like, I know what I can say, but really and truly, nobody will never ever feel the things that they're feeling. Because the boy don't care. People care for a moment. People listen and say, ooh, that's true. I'm going to live their lives. People do not care. What's the sense of telling a man, well, don't do this and don't do that, keep up the good work, and keep fighting, keep persevering, man, look at my story. All of that is good, but when you have to go back into a house where you have no running water, the light cut off, and then you're being threatened to be either put out or whatever because you can't pay the rent. What's supposed to do? I can only talk so much, I can only do so much, I can only hire so much. But eventually I understand the crazy of these people, and it hurts. It really and truly hurts. This young man every day getting up, selling his oils and whatnot, and then you can imagine he opening the newspaper and here they want to remove him from that same spot. You can imagine how he feel to know that no, he find an honest job and an honest little living to make a little dollar. Somebody want to remove him from his little platinum spot where he probably surviving the risk that this spot must be more conducive to him making money. I don't want to put this someplace else, probably because of whoever had the stores or whoever behind us. He said, I want them moving from my place. That's the reality of it. Not for the fire this and fire that. People can pretty it up. People can come up with the best PR stunts and say the most elaborate, and be very have the best linguistic abilities and all kind of thing. But really and truly, this is the crazy people. This is the crazy people. And it is sad because really and truly, these people do not care. These people go into the AC, they get in the car, windows are rolled up, have their tent on, 214 back from the office, get on the jet, fly back 214 when the election day come and give you your false promises, and then hope for the best for the next 4 years. First of all, even the comment itself, I agree with it. But the sad thing about it is that, as I said, it is social fatigue. So, like for right now, even the don't even know who to vote for. They lost faith in the government. There's lost faith in people they just started the false promises. Even to the same example you brought with the soft drinks, and it was saying you're being extra tax it, because of the sugar, and we want people to start drinking more healthy, so we can put more prices on. But really and truly, that's not what's going to happen. Majority of the times a person gets a carbonated drink is because it's carbonated. It's going to make your stomach feel full. Even if you're not full, it can help you feel full.
Yes,
That's the science behind it, basically.
It's true. Not
Right?
make we talk like poor people. It is
Exactly.
true.
So let me be honest about it and say that's one of the majority of the reasons why we decide to drink those carbonated sweet drinks is to make us feel full, even though we know we're not full. Even if it is full of gas, And that's the sad thing about it, is that the people have come to a place where they don't know where next to turn, who to vote for. They're tired of the promises, and no one is putting their foot down and setting an example and showing that they really care. Everybody's tired of the game. Everybody runs a sweet game when it's time to talk. Everybody, oh, vote for me. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. And then, yet, we still hold the responsibility and say, you know what? I don't want to not vote, and then somebody get in and then ruin our country, and we can't speak on it because we had the power to vote. And then you say, I vote, so now I'm responsible for putting this person in power who decides to run this country into ruins. So it puts you in a dilemma like, what am I supposed to do? Who am I support? Who's the lesser of the two evils? And anytime you go into the place with who's the lesser of the two evils, it's not even a good it's not even a good thing to do, because for a fact you're not even comfortable to put you at some place and say, well, yes, I believe that this is going to be the better tomorrow. This is going to be the better Barbados. This is for the best of Barbados. So it puts people in that position. What next to do? Even the same young man, if you had asked him who he voted for, I can guarantee you he's going to tell himself, I'm not going to vote. I'm tired of this. I am tired of this. And we talk about insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over, but expecting a different result. And people have come to that place and say we're not going to see any difference in terms of, don't matter who it is that we put in power. I think what needs to happen is such a radicalization among our people is that we say, you know what? And I said it before, hold them hostage to our votes and remind them that
There
you're
it
a
is.
public servant. You are a public servant. You want this? You come in and you come to work for us. You come to grant us what it is that we want. You don't come to us and tell us what you're looking to do. We tell you what it is that we want to do. And I think it needs to be with that approach, that militant approach. No, but this is a B, is a D. No, I am a Bajan. I am for Barbados. I am here for Barbados. Forget the whole B, forget the whole D. I am pro Barbados. And once you have that in mind, because people believe, man, yeah, this whole family here to vote in B's for years. This whole family here to vote in D's for years, so they can do it. No, hold them hostage to the vote. You will get my vote if these things are met. And this is how you negotiate. You work for us. This is what we want. This is what we want our ministers to do. This is what we want our prime minister to do. This is what we want the president to do. Rather than you coming to the table and saying this is what we're gonna do. No, 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 enough of that. And I don't think we're coming together and really mobilizing and verbalizing and saying, well, listen, them old ways or how we voted, done with. We coming together as a united front, and this is what we want. And there's a time frame and when we want these things to be done. I think we need to come with that approach, a serious approach.